I think I'm a special one.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
All right, we're live. Episode 11. What's up, Chad?
What's up, Andrew?
It's been a while, man.
It's been about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully you guys were, caught up on some old episodes or, just waiting around for a new one. But we're back.
Yeah, did it for the fans, for those who aren't quite caught up yet.
Yeah, by popular demand, we took a break.
Yeah. As this podcast continues to grow.
Mm-hmm. So we're on podcast 11, or should I say podcast XI, as we say in the soccer world. I had that joke stuffed in my back pocket for a little bit.
Yeah, I can tell.
That's what I'll make the title. I'll make it episode XI instead of 11.
Yeah, start using Roman numerals.
Yeah. Well, no one cares about the Roman numeral 12. It's just XI, like as in starting 11.
I got you.
What are you wearing?
So I have this New Balance Panama national team jersey. I think it's a jersey or it's a training jersey. Not sure which one, but it's tough. It's got like tiger print on the sides.
That's fresh. A lot of tigers down in Panama?
I don't know. I don't even know where Panama is.
Where'd you get it?
Soccer.com.
You must be selling a lot of Panama kits.
How about you? It's new,
So
right? Your new kit.
Yeah. So I just got this. It's probably like 2015 or 16 Orlando City jersey. It's got Breck Shea 20 on the back. Because if you remember from our first podcast, we talked about some of our favorite players. And both of us really like Breck Shea. We just, I don't know, liked him. We saw him play in person and we met him one time and he's like cool guy. And we followed his career. Yeah. We met him at he was doing some promo in New York City. And we met him and Dax McCarty there, both capped national team players, which is cool. And for the promo, he was like, hey, pick out some shoes and we'll give them to you. So we both have a pair of high-top Adidas shoes from Breck Shea. So I don't know why, but I was just going through YouTube and I was like, you know what, I want to watch some Breck Shea highlight videos. I was watching, I was like, man, I really, really like this guy. For 2 or 3 years, it was Josie, but Breck was right underneath him as my favorite players. I was a really big Breck Shea guy. So I was I'm just going to buy a Breck Shea jersey. And the only one I could really find was this one. It's probably, I don't know if it's authentic or whatever, but the guy gave me an option of what Orlando City player I want. So you just click Breck Shea. It was $40 on eBay. Not bad.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. It's kind of cool too. I like the purple.
Yeah. I like how we still got the setup in the back too.
Yeah. Well, that's always going to be here. Even if, I figured as long as if I'm home and I could do it here, I'll do it here. If not, then we'll make it work. But your setup's okay.
It needs some work. I got some Eagles things over here, and then just threw a Dortmund jersey up on the wall.
Yeah. We still have all the scarves and stuff. Maybe I have some stickers upstairs. Maybe we trick this out or maybe replace the jersey, switch it up a little bit. Still got the Ultimate Team cards in the back, which are awesome.
Yep.
So what's been up in your soccer world?
So recently I've been training with a team near where my apartment is right now. Mm-hmm. And I played my first 2 games with them. Last Wednesday we lost, but on Sunday we won pretty big. Mm-hmm. And it's going pretty good.
Nice. Good level?
Yeah, really high level, so it's good.
Nice, man. That's honestly I just tell you all the time, you play at a higher level than you're used to, eventually you'll adapt to that level. You put in the work to adapt to that level. And then when you go back down to a different level, you're like, wow, this is so much slower. It's easier to play. And it's important. That's what they say. That's why people want the best American players to go play in the top leagues and teams in Europe, because when they come back to the national team, they'll be at a higher level.
Yes. So we have training 3 times a week, and each training is about 2 hours too.
Grinding.
And I'm training with another team, mostly filled with guys that are on my college soccer team, and that's 2 times a week. So been playing a lot. Legs are really sore.
Oh man, you gotta do some foam rolling.
Yeah, I did. Already did.
Nice.
So what have you been up to?
Well, we started high school, so there's some like precautionary stuff. So there's been a few different delays with the high school season or whatever. So waiting for that to restart. But once that restarts, like it's so much fun. Like I'm excited. Coaching there is awesome. We got a good team, so I'm pumped about that. I had my first 2 games with my UA boys team, so that's going well. Later on, I have something to talk about. It's one of the topics I want to talk about is like something with like this UA boys team. So we'll get to that. But that's what I've been doing. Trying to like train, like work out on my own here and there. Not as much as I used to. Like I texted you yesterday that I was out working on my own and my skills were rusty, man.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Well, like it was like my dribbling and like my sharpness were really rusty. I would say my juggling's always pretty good. Like if it's passing or like touches off the wall or something like that, it's okay because I think that's what I'm better at. But like my dribbling and like being quick, like in tight spaces, I'm not too good.
Yeah, I mean you haven't played a game in a while too.
Yeah, definitely. So, agenda for today, we're gonna run through just some thoughts on like some of the current news that we missed. Most of the leagues started back up. There's something I want to talk about with in regards to youth soccer, and then big topic today. We'll go in maybe 30 minutes or so, 20 minutes. Importance of individual training, something that me and Chad both I think value a lot. I think it took my game from like a very average, like barely a varsity level player in high school to playing in college, playing on some decent summer teams or whatever, like playing like, let's say in quotes, like pro, like playing at a really high level to end my career. So, it's very important. So we're going to talk about that too.
Cool.
All right. You want to get started?
Yeah. What's first?
First one I had, Bundesliga. What do you think? You watched any of it yet?
I've only watched a little bit of the highlights.
Okay.
Saw Bayern did Bayern and Dortmund both lose?
Yeah.
This past weekend, I believe.
Yeah. So Gio Reyna actually started for Dortmund the first game and he scored and they won, but then they lost this weekend. Did you see any of the highlights from that game?
No, I didn't.
Man.
I just saw it.
I went back and watched like maybe 30 minutes of it. I didn't get to see the game live, but it was like pretty interesting. Like, first of all, I love Mats Hummels. Like, he's such a good passer. They play the young English guy, Jude Bellingham. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
They play him as a center mid, which is like, he's like, you could tell he maybe he didn't grow up always playing like center mid, but he's such a good like passer of the ball. He could strike a ball. He's just like so like smooth, dude. He's so good.
Yeah, he's like a unique type of player.
Yeah.
For that position.
Every time like a team loses, people are going to criticize Reyna or criticize somebody else. So like not the best game from him, but I like watching Dortmund. They're like exciting. It's like a different style kind of. So I always like watching them. Did you see Bayern lost this weekend?
Yeah, big, right? 4-1.
Yeah. Oh, didn't I think I turned off when it was 3-1, but I watched most of that game. And Bayern were okay. They just conceded like crap goals. Like that stuff happens. Hopefully it actually makes for a good title race in the Bundesliga.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened last year, right? Like when Bayern didn't start off so hot, they thought, oh, Bayern were going to lose the league. And then it'll probably be the same thing. Maybe people are like, oh, maybe Bayern won't win this year. And then Bayern eventually just go on a tear.
Yeah. I actually was thinking like, I kind of think that the end of the season Bayern team that we saw like in the Champions League and the end of the Bundesliga was one of the better teams, if not the best team that I've ever seen. So like I wasn't as knowledgeable about soccer back in like prime, like Pep Guardiola and Messi, like tiki-taka at Barca, or like some of these other like really good teams like Real Madrid or whatever. But like that Bayern team was like a machine, dude. Like I don't know. They're just all really good. They were one of the best teams I've ever seen.
They had like a crazy win streak to end the year last year. So
yeah. That'd be an interesting topic. I don't know enough about like soccer history to say like who's the best team, but like I think that Bayern team is much better than the other Champions League winners in the past few years. EPL, any thoughts? Premier League? Everton's doing well.
Everton's doing very well. Three games, 3 wins.
Top of the league.
It looks a little funky, to be honest.
Top of the
I'm pretty
league.
sure. I think Leicester's at the top
Uh,
right now, and Everton's maybe second. I think Villa's up there, and another random team.
yeah.
But I don't know. Like, it's gonna be interesting to see. Like, because I think like the Premier League's just stacked this year with good teams.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I've watched a few games. Like, and if I can't watch the games, I'll watch like the highlights or whatever. It's big Man City lost this weekend. I watched most of the Liverpool-Arsenal game yesterday. It's pretty good. Arsenal literally just came. They got a crap goal, but they literally just sat behind the ball. I tweeted something like, "Are you serious, Arsenal? Are you really just sitting behind the ball? Like, come on."
Yeah, you called him. If you want to be a big club, why are you sitting behind the ball?
Yeah, it's like, all right, like you're just gonna like.
I mean, yeah, but you are playing Liverpool.
Okay, but you're Arsenal. Like, it's just annoying.
Not that easy. It's not like they might not even have the chance, like, or the option if they want to sit behind the ball. They might just have to because that's how the game is going against Liverpool, who's still like a machine.
Yeah, but it's just bad luck. So, yeah, we'll keep covering some EPL stuff. Serie A, you watch any Serie A?
Just watch the Juventus highlights.
Yeah, Weston McKennie, 2 games, 2 starts.
Yep. I haven't been able to watch. I haven't seen any of his highlights from the games or been able to watch like an actual full game. But have you?
Yeah, well, I haven't watched any of like the full games because they're on a lot of times at the like middle of the day Sunday when like I coach and football. So, but the first game apparently Weston McKennie did really well. Like held his own, like got stuck into a few tackles, springed a Ronaldo counterattack that he almost scored. Second game he got subbed out pretty early. They were down 2-1, but they subbed him out while Rabiot was on a yellow. So they sub out McKennie, and then Rabiot eventually gets a second yellow. So they should have subbed out Rabiot instead of McKennie.
Yeah.
And, apparently he wasn't great, but they were down, I think, 2-1 to, was it Roma? And they ended up tying it up. So,
yep.
Yeah. But it's cool to see him on a big club. Like, you see these pictures of him and, like, Cristiano Ronaldo. It's like, wow.
I saw Wes McKennie asked Ronaldo, like, he was like, do you want this physique? Like,
yeah.
Imagine going up to Ronaldo and being like, "Yo, you want my physique?"
That's crazy. Ronaldo's probably a cool guy. Everyone just makes him out to be like this, like hardo, like tough guy.
Yeah.
So La Liga's back. Conrad De La Fuente, the American, he's been in like preseason and like all of the training videos Barca posts on their YouTube. He's in, but he didn't make the game day roster this weekend. I'm guessing he'll play a lot with Barca B. But the other American news, Dest to Barca is confirmed. It's 22 to 23 million euros, I think, pounds, whatever.
Not 100% confirmed because they haven't announced it yet, but
yeah, but that guy, the agent guy, confirmed it.
Yeah, the Woj of
I don't know how to say his name, but so that's done. It was between Barca and Bayern Munich, and I was on here like last month or so saying he should go to Barca. Like Semedo went to Wolves, right? So Wolves bought Semedo. So now there's like a gap at right back.
So do you think he'll play a whole lot?
I would think he's at least going to get time. Let's see. Who started against Villarreal this weekend? Yeah, so Sergio Roberto started at right back against Villarreal.
Of course he did.
So, like, if Sergio Roberto's the standard, then heck yeah, he's going to get time. Especially with the Dutch connection. Apparently the Ajax coach pushed for him to go to Barca rather than Bayern Munich. The Ronald Koeman, the old Dutch coach, Dest could have chosen the Dutch national team, but he chose the American national team. So like, there's some connections there. Barca has always bought Ajax players. Like, it's like a thing, like the Johan Cruyff connection, all that. So
yeah,
it'd be cool. So I'm excited to see that. Hopefully he'll get some games in.
Yeah,
dude, I feel like I was thinking this. Dude, Dest loves attention, though.
What do you mean?
He's such a hype beast. Well, one, look at his Instagram. He's always posting up or doing something weird.
Oh,
and
they paid much attention to it.
And then the fact that this took so long, and he was like, "Oh, I want to go to Bayern. Oh, I want to go to Barca. I want to stay." It's just, you knew he drew that out just because he loves the attention.
Yeah, and he kind of drew out the U.S. versus Dutch.
Yeah, I was gonna say that he held a press conference or announced it. He was he gave a time that he was gonna announce he was committing to college or something.
I mean, now he's a big player, dude. So
yeah. So hopefully he lives up to that potential. MLS, we'll just go through it real quick. Union are on fire. Brendan Aronson, freaking on fire. I love that guy. Apparently his move. What'd you say?
So is Fontana.
Yeah, I know. Fontana's a beast too. I always like Fontana. Brendan Aronson to RB Salzburg is apparently confirmed, so we'll wait to hear that. I don't know. Maybe he'll go in January.
Yeah, I heard he wouldn't go till the end of this season.
Dude, we got a real chance to win the cup, man. This Union team is legit.
And there's really no other teams that are that good in the league.
Yeah.
LAFC is really not that good. Not as good as last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know the standings right now, but
yeah, Columbus is still top of the East.
First in the East.
Columbus.
Is it up?
Columbus. Yeah.
Yeah.
So playoffs are going to be cool, but it's it just sucks that there's no fans in the stands, because Talent Energy, Subaru Park, whatever you want to call it, would be rocking if we were hosting MLS Cup. Imagine if we had the best record and we hosted MLS Cup. Dude, that place would be insane.
Oof. We went to that the one time. It wasn't even a playoff game, I don't think. Or was that the playoff game? Where all the fans were cheering, doing chants.
Oh, dude, that was last regular season against Houston.
Yeah.
And it was just because the team was good. They were leading up to that. They were just on fire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When the Union are good, that place is rocking.
I think credit to Jim Curran.
You hear me say it all the time. I love Jim Curran.
Yeah, he's such a good coach. I don't know. If you look at our team on paper, it's really not that good. But the way he can develop some players and
and it's if you look at what a coach needs to do other than win a trophy and be contending for trophies year after year, what hasn't he done? He's stabilized the franchise, and for 2 to 3 seasons now, we've been at the top of the league. He's gotten a U.S. Open Cup finals. He's developed players. He's brought in homegrown young guys, and we'll be selling them off for profit. He's developed players. He's taken veteran players and meshed them with the team. He's taken European guys and mixed them in. Go through anything you want in a coach. It seems like it's
Greg Berhalter.
Dude, curtain for MNT.
Hey, why not?
Yeah. Another MLS thing. I wanted to say that Jordan Morris is on fire. He has 7 goals and 6 assists in his last 13 games.
The funny thing is, wait, say that again?
7 goals and 6 assists in his last 13 games.
What a beast.
Yeah, dude, I'll tweet about Jordan Morris, and there's always 2 haters that are that just pop into my mentions and start talking about Jordan Morris.
They're haters?
They're
Jordan
just
Morris haters?
Yeah, they're he needs to go to Europe. De La Fuente's better, or Tim Weah is better. And it's no. If you're making a U.S. best 11, okay, his best position is also Pulisic's best position on the left wing, but just put him on the right wing or something. And Berhalter's experimented with Pulisic at the 10 or whatever, but Morris is in there. He's earned it.
I mean, He definitely deserves it. Like if you look on Twitter, there's people that post like the USMNT lineup with a picture of the club that they play for.
Yeah.
And it's all big clubs now. Like it's all big clubs, and he's got a Seattle Sounders logo.
Yeah. But
right game.
Yeah. So, and if you don't know what we're talking about, like there'll be people who would be like, this is what the U.S. lineup looked in 2017 against Trinidad. And instead of saying the players' names, it just has the logo of their club. So like Omar Gonzalez played for Pachuca and he started that game. So it's like a Pachuca logo. And like Tim Howard played for the Rapids. So it's like a Rapids logo. So like, yeah, you see a Man City and a Barca and a Juve and it looks great. And like, I'm all for going to challenge yourself, but it's also like, De La Fuente, you can do it in training, but he hasn't proven himself at Barca. There's a big difference between being at Barca training and like being a beast for the Seattle Sounders. Now, I'm sure Jordan Morris could probably produce what De La Fuente is doing at Barca. Like if Jordan Morris is just at Barcelona, which is funny to think about, but like, I'm sure he could do it. And like, maybe they don't play the same style or whatever, but like, he's good. I just don't get how people don't see that. And, like, the only thing they use as, like, defense is, like, you're not at a big club. Del Fuente's at Barca. Tim Weah is playing in the French league. It's like, okay, you don't have to pin them against each other. Like, Jordan Morris is just good.
I get what you're saying, but I think he should definitely, like – I think he should make a move because he's good enough.
Yeah, he is.
He's probably the best player in the MLS right now.
But, I mean, like, Dempsey was really good in the 2014 World Cup, and he wasn't playing at as high a level as Jordan Morris was. And
but he played at a higher level. Dempsey.
Yeah, but MLS is also at – I think MLS right now is a pretty high level.
Jordan Morris could prove himself if he went over to Germany, probably.
Yeah. Well, yeah, apparently he did well at Werder Bremen when he was there training after college.
Not well enough.
Well, no, he chose the Sounders. He didn't get cut. He chose the Sounders.
Yeah, because he might be like kind of a softie. Like he might not want to leave America.
I don't know. I heard it was like he had like I don't know complications with like he has like diabetes or something, so he had to get treatment for that. And him and his girlfriend got a dog. That was the big story, is that he got a dog. So, like, everybody that hates Jordan Morris is like, oh, he wanted to stay in the U.S. because he got a dog.
You're going to tell me he can't go to a big club and make tons of money because him and his girlfriend got a dog.
Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. Man's best friend. So, last topic. Do you have anything else on that, or can I keep going?
No, I'm good.
All right. Last topic I want to talk about before we get into individual training is, like, kind of a rant on youth soccer. And like, I'm not too experienced. Like I coach one team. I've helped coach like a few others, like seen games, practices, tournaments, whatever. And like, so a lot of what I do with my U8 team, so a lot of them are like 7, 8 years old. First year playing travels, like let them play 1v1s and like work on like skill moves and just like go at each other. Right. Yep. Very like my favorite thing to do is like, as soon as they arrive, I set up one field with like some pug goals or something. And as soon as they come, I pair them off in partners, so like 1v1s. So there'll be like 4 different games of 1v1s going on the same field. So they're working on dribbling, like you got to get your head up, like see where everyone is kind of thing, like manipulating the ball, trying to be like a little deceptive and whatever. And like that's my favorite thing to do. And then like you look at some of the games, like these official games, like honestly, that's not where the development's going to happen. It's going to happen in practice probably, because you get in these games, it's 7v7. Most of the other teams will just leave 2 defenders back on like their 18-yard box. The ball will come to them and they'll like toe ball it up the field. It's ridiculous. And like most of the time it's just the fat kids that stay in the back for these other teams. And like, they just have no idea what they're doing. Like, the parents are yelling, boot it, kick it, whatever. And like, we've lost a few games, but I could have just told my defenders to stand at the top of the box and we would have done just fine. We just get scored on because our players are out of position. But do I expect them to know what a right defender and a left defender is, and like when you should slide to the middle? Like that stuff's too complicated for them. So I'm just like, whatever, like go play. If you could dribble, you could dribble. If I tell them to make the field as big as they can. If there's one guy chilling out wide, like pass him the ball and let him go dribble.
You're not too worried about wins right now.
I'm not. I just hope the parents aren't like mad at me. I might get sacked.
Problem. You might have parents that are like, "Oh, we're not winning. Let me take my kid off the team and bring him somewhere else."
I don't know where else they're gonna go. Like,
I'm just saying it could happen.
I seriously believe in like 2 years, this is going to benefit them. Because if they learn that, you get the ball, you be direct, you like take players on, you use some skill moves, whatever, like stuff's way more valuable than like having a big kick,
Yeah.
It's just,
Definitely.
and like, I don't see the other coaches like reinforcing this stuff. It's just, I don't know. It's ugly. And then, yeah. What are you saying?
I was gonna say the 1v1, 2v2, 3v3 kind of stuff. That's when you learn like if there's a ball coming, maybe you let it roll across your body, or you move your body one way to make the defender move one way. Like you can't really do that by like some other drills that you do or individual training. Like it's kind of like
you're developing. Yeah, like your soccer instincts, I feel like are going to develop so much better if you just play more. Like if you bring it back to the streets of Brazil or whatever, like as much free play, free thinking, like going at each other as you can. And then like you could sprinkle in a few like teaching points here and there, trying to like teach some bad habits out of them or whatever. But like you look at some of these 7v7 games, so they're like 8 years old, and like a kid might not touch the ball for a few minutes, or like they're just running in packs up and down the field with everyone yelling boot it and kick it, and then like everyone's at the build out line like ready to rush like they're blitzing a quarterback. It just, I was telling you the other day, like there's no reason these kids should be playing 7v7. Like when we played that, when we were that little, it was 8v8 up until you were like 11, and then we played 11v11. But I feel like it needs to keep going further. Like we talked a couple podcasts ago about that thing in Belgium. So I originally got the Belgian soccer thing wrong. So what it was they saw the success that like the guys like De Bruyne had and Eden Hazard, and then like how necessary it is to be able to dribble and develop individual players, that they made it mandatory across the whole country in like 2010 or 2008 or something like that, that you could only play 2v2 up until U9 or U10. So you're developing dribbling and goal scoring and teamwork in partners as like the only skills you need. So they saw the importance of it and like the effects of it, and then they implemented it. And like, no wonder why people are just going to like pass us by, or like, kids that play pickup games are going to pass these kids by because there's no development going on in the games.
You see, like in Belgium, it's different. Like kids can probably play 2v2 because there's like so many kids that want to play and stuff. But here, if you like, you'll need to make more teams. If that's the argument against it. Like you'll need to make more teams if it's smaller.
Yeah. So my like perfect world recommendation is probably a lot harder to do than it's much easier to say than to implement and do. But instead of a rec program that's centered around like I say, like fun games, like it should just be like, gather up 12 or 14 kids, put them in pairs, play 2v2, or maybe at like a higher level rec, or like when they're just starting travel, get like the closest 4 or 5 youth clubs and have like multiple teams of like 3v3 and like just make mini tournaments out of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then like, you could advance it, maybe have other tournaments that are further out, but like every week you travel to the club that's 15, 20 minutes away and you play their 2 3v3 teams. And you're just getting way more touches on the ball, and every team has like maybe 1 or 2 subs, whatever. It's way more effective than 7v7.
But there are also like some skills that you can definitely get more out of 7v7, like passing. Or
okay, but is an 8-year-old going to make a pass?
What was that?
Is an 8-year-old going to make a pass?
They're going to learn. They're going to develop to learn how to make a pass.
Yeah, but like the way I see it, like, okay, Barcelona U8 players can make a pass and should be playing. But the kids like that I see, and this isn't like a high level, but I'm sure even at the higher levels of whatever this league is, South Jersey Soccer,
You
2012
can't compare
boys.
Barcelona to your U8 team.
I'm just saying those players can play soccer because they could stay on the ball. A ball will come to them. They could stay on it. If they're trying to dribble to the left and there's nothing there, they could turn, do a skill move or something, go back to the right. If they have to, they'll turn around or they'll take a big touch past somebody and dribble by him. These players can't, so they need to learn those skills. So if they're not put in the right situation in like their rec program, then you know what I mean? Like even
Soccer, I get what you're saying because
Yeah.
you can develop a ton of skill from smaller sided stuff. But 7v7 is more similar to 11v11 than anything lower than 7v7. So, and that's soccer is 11v11. So if you want to work on switching the ball, you can't really work on switching the ball playing 2v2 or 3v3.
I get what you're coming from. You also haven't seen what I'm talking about like firsthand. You haven't seen these kids play, but like there's no switching the ball. The level these kids are at, my kids, even like the better teams in our age group at this club and other clubs, like they're not switching the ball.
But as they start to recognize it, it might be like, oh, maybe there is a guy over there wide open. I'll kick him next time.
But if you could switch the ball at 10 years old but can't dribble by somebody repeatedly, it does no good. Like I said before, as like, kind of like a corny example, but you think like Frankie de Jong, if every player could like maneuver his body like Frankie de Jong or like take a touch past somebody like Thiago or something like that, then that's much better. And then just you will have plenty of qualified coaches that can teach that stuff at 11 and 12 years old. The way I'm seeing it, like, I feel like the 7v7 should probably be implemented when they're like U10. Maybe like high level U9.
When's it implemented now?
I think U8 and U9 are 7v7. No. U11 and U12 are 9v9. So U10 and U9 and U8 are 7v7. So there's 3 years of 7v7, 2 years of 9v9. So you really only need 1 year of 9v9. I don't know. Like, you can get the same principles in a 7v7 than you would in a 9v9. It's just a bigger field and the players are bigger.
9v9 and 7v7, I feel like, are the same thing.
Yes.
So, like,
I've watched plenty of 9v9 games as well at a decent level, not the highest in like the area, but there's no switching the ball in those either. So you could teach those, but the problem is they won't be able to switch the ball because they can't stay on the ball. They can't protect the ball from the defender or manipulate the ball or manipulate the defender to do what they want to do. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair point.
And I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be like half right, but this is just what I'm seeing now, and I'm going to keep coaching that way.
So you want to keep – I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You want to keep coaching the skill for the player.
Mm-hmm.
But
Individual skill, yeah.
Individual over like the thinking of the game.
I think the thinking of the game is super important, but if you think like take my U8 or U9 players, what we think they're thinking of the game, they probably don't think anyway. You could teach the game.
Eventually get it though, like little by little. Like right now, like I don't know.
I think a prerequisite to thinking the game is understanding beating someone off the dribble, right? Keeping the ball at your foot. Because if you can't play with the ball at your feet, you're not going to make it to the next level anyway.
Agreed.
I think that it's easier to have someone think the game and teach them to think the game at 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, like the years leading up to high school, than it is to teach someone to be able to be confident, tricky, deceptive on the ball at those years. I feel like I missed that out. When I played, I was like a right back and the ball would come to me and I just like clear it up the line and people would be like, yeah, nice ball. That wasn't a nice ball because I had no idea what to do if the ball came. I couldn't settle it, dribble my way out of pressure. You see it on the men's national team. Like one of the criticisms is that we can't dribble out of pressure. Like the game we played Mexico, that friendly in September of 2019, you know what I'm talking about?
No.
We lost like 3-0. It was like a super intense friendly. And the big criticism was like, oh, our center backs can't dribble out of pressure. Mexico was just like man marking us basically and like super high pressing. So it was a 1v1 battle basically all over the field in an organized team press. And we couldn't win those battles. So like the ball would go to, I don't know, whoever it was, Aaron Long or somebody. And like he couldn't take one deceptive touch like into the midfield and play a pass and start breaking them down. That's just like, I feel like one of the most important skills and prerequisites to doing everything else. I mean, you hear like stories of like people that play in Brazil, they don't really play organized soccer till they're like almost teenagers anyway. It also sets the floor for the player's ability way higher.
Sets the ceiling.
Both, honestly.
What do you mean?
I think if we keep doing this, like, play nice organized soccer, like most players will end up here. But if you like they'll end up in the middle. But if you do this like deceptive dribbling, 2v2, 3v3 type thing, it sets their floor higher and their ceiling much higher. Because if everyone can dribble a little bit, and then you get a few players that really pop, and then you might get not a Messi, but like a really good dribbler, an Alexis Sanchez, or like you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. So, good take.
Thank you. I appreciate your appreciation of my take.
Yeah. So we'll see how that works out in the coming years for your players as you take
coming years
team from the lowest of the low.
The real grassroots.
Like grassroots.
Mm.
Like these kids have not even played on like artificial turf.
Yeah.
Like grass.
By the way, I also think that it's easier to teach the game. This is the last point. It's easier to teach the game if they're so used to 1v1s and 2v2s. It's easy to teach like the defending your goal, attacking the other team's goal. You know what I'm trying to say?
Say it again.
So let's say you're in a 1v1 and a 2v2 game. The main goal is to steal the ball from your opponent, go score in your goal, and stop them from scoring in the other one, right?
Yeah.
But in a 7v7 game, everyone, like, you're put in positions, everyone either runs in a pack or sticks exactly to their position. So, like, my right back might be on the other side of the field, and he's like, oh, I'm playing right defender. Like, I can't move. But in a 2v2 game, you learn that, like, instinctual, like, oh, I got to stop the ball from getting close to the goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one thing I kind of learned on the fly. I put out a right defender, and he wouldn't move from that spot. And I was like, you got to stop the ball. So we started, like, working on that a little bit.
It's funny because, dude, I remember I was playing. I was a youngin', and I was playing. I remember sitting on like the corner of the 18-yard box, and I remember thinking to myself, I was like, why don't they dribble towards me? Like, I want action.
Exactly, bro. Imagine the development you missed out on because you're standing at the top of the box. I remember playing like right midfielder or something in like some like 8v8 game back in the day, and like I wouldn't go to the ball in the middle because I was like, oh, I don't want to leave my position. But you develop that like that dog, that like gamer soccer, like go get the ball type of thing.
Yeah. And the kids need to know, like, even if he leaves his position, someone fills in for him. Like,
yeah, which is a lot for these kids to handle. But in 2v2, it's much easier to learn those little principles.
Yeah.
You could break down every soccer game into a 1v1 and 2v2 type game anyway.
Mm-hmm. So what's the 10-year plan for your players?
I think a few of my players are going to get called into youth national team camp soon.
Okay.
A few of them maybe hit the Union Academy, maybe get some training compensation.
Yeah. Maybe Union Academy will just pick you up as a coach by then.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll be at La Masia. I don't know.
You'll be working with all the Brazilians at the Union.
Nino, Cleverson.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Richter is like the head honcho at the Union Academy. They must be so good at their job because like the players on like our USL team and like the Union Academy team are just nasty.
Yeah, they're really good.
All right. I don't know how long we've been going. Oh, snap. We've been going for 41 minutes.
Okay. It's fine.
Do we want to keep going or do we want to make individual training a separate podcast?
it's up to you. How much can we say about individual training?
All right. So we'll get into it. And then if we have, other listeners have thoughts or like we think of something else, we could add that too. Or maybe we break it down even further into like some scientific based training. I have a few notes. Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
And just stop me whenever you want or when I'm wrong. So I would say starting at a young age, going off what I said, the more time you spend with the ball, the better player you're going to be, right? Being comfortable on the ball. It's pretty well known that kids that grow up in a soccer family or soccer culture are also better players. So if a kid grows up playing pickup soccer, plays like free play, just plays with like an older brother or sister or like their dad. You see like these Hispanic families are now like the Hispanic or like Mexican immigrants or something are now like taking over the U.S. national team because they're playing with their dads or their brothers or their older cousins like in the park just kicking the ball around. So they're doing this all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I love like one time I saw this team at a tournament and a few like Mexican families on the team and the younger brothers all go out and shoot at halftime. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's awesome. Like those kids are going to be good because they're spending more time with the ball than like the mom that likes to bring her like fold out chair to the games and like scream for the team. You know what I mean?
Drives a minivan.
Yeah, it's starting. It's the real soccer culture. That's what I mean. But like there comes a point where just playing these little pickup games or whatever isn't enough, right? So like if you take me at 14 years old, I probably could have benefited from playing a lot more pickup soccer. But me at 18, like eventually that kind of stops. So that's when I think you got to start like legitimately working on your skills or at least like spending more deliberate time with the ball.
You say it at 18?
Something like that. That's just what I mean.
You think earlier?
Earlier that development stops?
No. You said like at 18 is when you started like working on your individual skill.
Oh, no. I meant like I think I started working on my individual skill like well, we worked with like our coach Johnny on like some individual training and stuff, which is important. But like us, like actually working out, I would say like going into my sophomore year of high school. So I was like 15, and then like I progressed into that. So like I would do like maybe work on my shooting a little bit on my own, or like a few skill moves, and then I like found out, hey, I could kick this ball off the wall for like hours, and it really, really improves my skill. So like when any little kid that like a coach, I would rather say like work on your skill moves when you get home. If we work on skill moves for 15 minutes of practice, I tell them that's their homework to go home and work on those moves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think skill moves and juggling when you're younger go like a super long way, right? Like, don't you kind of wish you did more of those when you were younger?
Yeah. Just to get like the base of like the technique.
Yeah. And like juggling, especially, you're manipulating the ball how you want it, like subconsciously or whatever. Huh?
I said you love to say that, manipulate the ball.
Yes, because that's what you do. You're not just kicking it up in the air. You're like, I want to move this ball in the air. I'm going to do it. Or I want to kick it higher than I just did. I'm going to work my legs to do that. Or I'm going to do this around the world or juggle with the inside of my foot.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one quote, like not all good jugglers are good soccer players, but every good soccer player can juggle.
Yeah.
So if you can manipulate the ball, you could play soccer.
Yeah.
So I think like I would say once I hit like going into my senior year, that's when I really started like grinding.
Senior year of what?
Of high school.
So like 18?
Yeah, that was also like not being fat and like getting in like good like running shape too. But I used to spend like a lot of time kicking the ball off the wall. So my first touch got a lot better. Now I didn't spend a lot of time dribbling or working on my skill moves or that kind of stuff. So that stuff lagged behind, but just playing the ball off the wall like hundreds of times a day, like think about how many quality touches you're getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like light on the body. It's kind of like
yeah.
Like you can do a ton of them, and it's like
Yeah, and it's a soccer move. You're doing that in a game too.
Yeah, I mean it's not like a move, but like
Yeah, like a soccer movement.
Basic idea of the game.
Yeah, I see a lot of like even like youth clubs like promoting their players to do like little like ball mastery stuff in like a small square.
Yeah,
Like I think that stuff's good, and if a player does that, they're definitely going to improve. But it also drives me nuts when that's all people do, because I can get super good at little like L pullback turns and Cruyffs inside like a 1 yard box. But that's not going to make me like Christian Pulisic dribbling at somebody, you know?
No, I agree. It's like you can individual train all you want and have like really good technique or whatever, but you need to know like when to use the stuff.
Yeah.
Like in games, like when's the right time to use that drag back behind your leg or something.
Yeah. And that's kind of what it comes down to in like these 1v1 games or these pickup games. Like I could practice for a million hours on like doing a step over and taking a guy on, but I'm never going to be as good as Cristiano Ronaldo doing it, or Messi doing it, or Pulisic doing it, or even like Jordan Morris doing it, right? Because they have that. They probably played at that level. Huh?
I said, you just name the 4 best players in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I even named the Argentinian Jordan Morris.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's the free play pickup 1v1s setting the floor and the ceiling higher, right? But like, just like think about it I feel like people get discouraged because they'll go practice like once or twice and be like, why am I not better? But think about it over a 2-week period, and then like a 3-month period, and then like a 2-year period on if you just spend 30 minutes to an hour with the ball, kicking off the wall, juggling, maybe dribble through a few cones here and there, working on a skill move. Like think about how much more time you have with the ball then, right?
Yeah. It's just like if you go to the gym and you do bicep curls, like the next day you're not going to be like jacked.
Yeah.
The biceps aren't going to be huge. But if you do bicep curls 2 times a week, and in like a few months, you'll see the difference, you know, and like consistently doing it too. So if you can't just train your technique and then think it's just gonna like go up and then just stay there that whole time. It might go down if you stop.
Yeah.
Training.
Like
Wow.
second nature.
Yeah.
Like at Stevenson, like in college, we had, so I used to train in this racquetball court all the time. It was indoor. And then we had like a turf field. And then on the side of the turf field before the bleach, like the stands, was like a brick wall. So I'd always either be in the racquetball room or on the field, just like doing something. And like every morning or like before practice, I'd just be out there. So people will like see me training and be like, hey man, you're going to kill it next year. I'd be like, yeah, I sure hope so. And like the next year come by, like, you know, maybe I wasn't great, had some good games, bad games. Next year it comes by like, oh, I'm going to kill it this year. Like, yeah, maybe not great. But then eventually by the time I'm a senior, like that's so much more time with the ball. And then after my senior year, I kept training, and every morning I'd go out to the field. I'd be kicking off the brick wall, dribbling through some cones, like working on my technique. And then like I'd go like a second time that day. So that's literally double the time that I'm getting with the ball, just going for a second time that day to train, right?
Yeah.
And then if you do that for 3 months or 6 months, like that's so much more time with the ball, and then you improve so much more. So like my biggest improvement probably came from after my senior year to when I went to my first Philadelphia Fury practice. And then the week after that, I trained with my college team again for spring season just to like train. And I was like so much better with the ball in my foot just because I kept training and doing that stuff.
Yeah. Repetition.
Yeah. And I would say the older you get and the higher level, the more deliberate the training needs to be. I would say always have fun with the ball, but if you're like pushing, you might, you know, last chance to become a professional or whatever. Maybe you need to just perfect your right-footed crosses because that's what's going to get you to the next level, or your headers or something like that. But if you're younger, I don't think you need to be only working on one specific skill, you know?
Train all technique, shooting, passing, dribbling, whatever else there is.
Yeah, those are like the basics, but there's different like how you strike a ball differently, a long ball, a driven ball, whatever. But if you're just kicking the ball off the wall all the time, you're going to learn those.
When I was younger, like remember the old Nike cleats? There was the Mercurials for dribbling.
Yeah.
There was another cleat like the
Mercurials are speed, bro.
Speed. There was one for passing.
CTRs?
Was it the CTRs? And then there's one.
CTRs are like that 360 control.
And Tempos were for first touch. And when I was younger, I was like, why are like you got shooting, passing, and speed/dribbling, and then you got first touch. Like first touch isn't important.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when I was younger. Like, I thought, is it first touch the same as dribbling?
Yeah, but
so it's just I don't know. When I was younger, I didn't think anything about like how important the first touch was.
Speaking of like those old Nike like shoes, like I remember they used to put out like old YouTube videos. Remember they had like Nike FC Academy and all those?
Oh yeah, bro.
And they used to have like, they had this one video I was thinking of earlier, and it was like Iniesta doing this drill. And the drill was literally just, you take a few juggles, you kick the ball like high in the air, and you have to take your touch and control it inside of this box. So you just make a little box with cones and control it. I remember I would watch it, but I never did it. Like, why did I watch the video but not do it? I saw freaking Iniesta doing it. You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And, like, there was another video I saw. I found this more recently, but it's an old video of Diego Forlan, you know, World Cup legend. And he's just, like, kicking the ball off the wall, just, like, having fun, 1-2 touch off the wall. Like, those guys do it. And I'm sure, like, they either did it when they were younger or they played so much that they don't need to do it now. But, like, that stuff really does, like, take you to the next level.
I did do it when they were younger. And he saw a wall, and he was like, oh, I'm going to kick it off it.
Yeah.
Send that video to me.
Yeah, I think I have it on YouTube. I'll share it. Maybe I'll tweet it out from our podcast page.
Word.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I had. What do you think is, like, when did you start training the most on your own, and when did you think you saw the biggest improvement training on your own?
Like, yeah, 7th or 8th grade, I would always just, because we had a goal in our backyard, I would just bring one ball out and just, like, kind of kick around.
I'm just picturing the little Shad, like, with a bowl cut, just, like,
yeah,
the ball.
Yeah.
But you also had the advantage because I was older. So, like, you
saw what you did, and then
yeah, that's awesome.
I started earlier.
So you just shoot?
I kind of just, like, kick it, just, like, shoot it into the goal, go get it, and then, like, dribble around, shoot. But then I, like, around, like, junior year of high school is when I, like, started to do, like, actual drills, probably.
Yeah. So you, at that age, could have went out and shot free kicks or whatever. But if you're having fun with the ball and you're just spending time with it, like subconsciously learning different strokes of the ball, different techniques, then that stuff helps. And then as you get older, you start deliberately training. So I don't want a 10-year-old to go, like, dribble around a cone and, you know, dribble, like, do, like, some cone weaves and, like, you know, whip in a right-footed cross or something like that. I'd rather them work on their juggling and, like, having fun with the ball and just spend time with it. But as you get older, I think then you start honing in on some skills, like some positional stuff. Like I was thinking, like, if I'm a center back, I need to work on, like, that ball coming across my body and taking, like, a positive first touch into the space, or taking a close first touch with the ball coming across my body and being able to distribute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, that's reps, like game like reps. But hopefully when you're younger, you're getting, like, legit game reps and practice reps and playing reps, you know?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So that's what I had.
That's the gist.
Mm-hmm. I think I've been, like, reading, like, some, like, you know, that one book I was reading. I think I might do, like, a review on it and relate it to soccer. Don't give it away, but I think that'd be a cool podcast idea.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's some other stuff. I think there's, like, some good science behind it. Like we said, our boy on YouTube, Become Elite, he has, like, a lot of videos on, like, this kind of individual training too, and it goes a long way.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what he has to say.
Yeah. Well, one, we had our special guest. I still never hit back because we took such a long break from the podcast. We should hit up Matt Sheldon, dude. Maybe he'll help us out and come on.
Dude, I think there's a few guys on YouTube that would come on.
Yeah. So we got to start doing that. We just needed to get like kind of on a schedule. And this is like the busiest time of the year for me as a coach right now with high school, and you're kind of, back in college. So,
or if there's like a coach that you know or that I know,
yeah,
maybe they can come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really like one of my favorite things to listen to now is like, I wouldn't say specific coaching stuff, but like philosophy of coaching. Like when I hear people talk about the importance of free play and 1v1s, I love that stuff,
Yeah.
Or if I see a coach post like a session on YouTube. Yeah. What'd you say?
Like all you talk about.
Yeah. Because I'm like,
you should create a side podcast called the Free Play in 1v1s podcast.
Free play and 1v1s podcast. Yeah. But there's like, it's an important skill. So that shows you how much I'm like literally the worst 1v1 player ever.
Yeah, I can tell.
We used to play 1v1s all the time during like mid quarantine. Like
I probably won out of 10 games. I probably won 9.
You also like cheated and you'd get mad and just punt the ball. So,
all right. If that's the only way you can win, then that's the only way you can win.
Yeah. I beat you my fair share of times, and I also like go back and look at like my highlight videos. I don't think there might be one clip of me beating somebody 1v1 on the dribble. Even as a 1v1 defender, I wasn't great.
You might just like not be confident enough.
Yeah, like I probably had the skill to go out and do it, but like having the skill and having the instinct, like the cognitive ability in your mind are two different things. So because I never played 1v1s or small-sided games when I was little, I never got that confidence or that little thing inside my head. You know what I mean?
See, even at practice, like with the team I'm training and playing with, like I'll get the ball in practice, and what's in my mind is that I want to get it and play it. You know what I mean? But yeah. I know like I have the skill to dribble and do stuff. I can't really think of like a few times that like in practice and in the game, I actually was like, here, I'm a dribble. I'm a dribble by someone and then make a play. It's mostly for me been like I receive the ball, if I'm finding the next pass.
Yeah. But the higher level you get, the less 1v1s you actually do, just because so many people are at the level where if you try to dribble, they'll take the ball away from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the good 1v1 dribblers make a lot of money and are worth a lot because it's such a valuable skill. So like
every team needs players like that,
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get stuck at some points. Like you're not gonna always have passing options.
Yeah, dude.
You're gonna need to dribble.
Managers will set up their team to be able to isolate wingers and have them dribble at people.
Yeah, Spurs.
Son's so good at dribbling. Like, think about it. You're not like, oh, he's so skillful and he's got the craziest step over, but he's got a quick first step because he's direct. He'll go at you. He'll take a touch by you. You know what I mean? A little bit like I think him and Pulisic kind of play similarly.
Because all they do in South Korea is free play.
They play.
That's their philosophy.
They probably play so much 1v1s in South Korea. Another thing I want to say before we stop is like one of the best parts about individual training is like it's not going to take you from a college player to Manchester United, but like someone like you. So you're a good college player, but right now you're playing at a higher level. So you do these 1v1 trainings, or not 1v1 trainings, like these individual trainings and whatever you do with the other teams, and you use that to try and compete at this next higher level. So you use whatever you can to get to the next level, and you use that when that level, that speed of play becomes the norm. You use that plus your individual trainings, plus your gym workouts, plus your nutrition and good habits to get to that next level and the next level. You can't just go from one level to the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like if I were to make a path for you to go to like play for like Manchester United, right? It would be like become a first team starter on like a I don't know, like a high level amateur like PDL, NPSL, right? and like find your way to be like a low end rostered player on like a USL team or like a NISA team. And then from there, work your way to be a starter and then like maybe a low end MLS player. So like you just keep kind of climbing these ladders, but in between, it's the work you do with your team, winning battles in training and the games, but also like the individual training to make sure that you could do that in the team trainings and the games. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Cool. Dude, this was, I think, our best podcast.
It was a good podcast.
We had to go podcast XI with a bang.
Yeah. Tell your friends, everybody.
Yeah. Let's get this.
The boys are back.
The boys are back in town. If I knew how to put some outro music on it, I'd put the boys are back in town.
Yeah.
All right. We good?
Yeah, we're good. Good stuff.
All right. I'll end it here. All right. See you guys. Make sure you leave reviews, likes on YouTube, comments, social media, all that stuff.
Yep.
And send us questions too.
And suggestions, whatever.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Peace.